The second announcement, and I think the one that flew under the radar a bit, was that if you elected to not go into the VCSP program, you actually have a path forward as well. So you could have come back to Broadcom and said, hey, look, with all these changes, our plan is to get off of VMware, right? We're not going to continue on. We're not going to relicense. We're not going to work with a VCSP partner. So where does that leave us, right? As of 531 or 6.1, does someone just come and pull the proverbial plug and all of our systems go offline? And Broadcom actually shed a little bit of light into what that process looks like. So for customers who are electing to, instead of moving into this new ecosystem, they have now until April of 2025 to figure out what that alternative solution is, right? So in essence, my interpretation of that is that Broadcom is basically making a bet here and saying that, hey, look, we understand you aren't going to be able to move off of VMware within 30 days, 60 days, whatever that timing may have been. But we're so confident that this is the right solution for you that we feel that even if we give you a year to move off of it, you're still not going to find an alternative. You're still not going to find a better solution or better approach. And at some point in that year, you're probably going to elect to decide to end up staying with VMware, with Broadcom, and still navigate some of the turbulent waters of those licensing changes. So the good news now is that really kind of regardless of whatever camp you found yourself in, you do have a path forward. So we finally have maybe not quite closure, but at least some defined future for what the VCSP program looks like. I'm sure there are still questions out there, right? And I know we're working with the multitude of customers that we have now engaged with who are our VCSP partners that are in that registered partner tier. And working with them on a daily basis as the Broadcom system change, as portals change, as new metering capabilities become available to roll out those new metering and monitoring platforms to report things like license usage. These are all ways that we're helping our customers who we started working with as a result of this process, and that's probably happening in providers across the space, right? So a lot of change still ongoing there, but the VCSP conversation is probably starting to come to its natural conclusion. So if you're still out there, right, if you're still trying to figure out the VCSP partnership program, if you're still looking for, with whom can I work, what company can be out there to serve as my VCSP partner in the Pinnacle or Premier tier, please don't hesitate. Reach out to Evolve IP. We're certainly happy to help. We're still happy to have that conversation, lend some additional information and guidance into what specifically you might be looking for to license the cores and the VMware solutions that you might be running as a service provider. Or if you're looking at an alternative solution and you're one of the folks that's decided, hey, we don't want to go through this process ourselves at all, and we're ultimately going to maybe move away from what we're doing with VMware. There's probably a conversation for us to have there as well, right? With our combination of both public and private cloud solutions, we would certainly love to talk to you about alternatives and ways that we might be able to maybe take some of the management of that off of your plate from an infrastructure point of view, from a licensing and a support point of view, and really how we could effectively work together to maybe bridge that gap in the time that you have between now and April of next year, to determine what your alternative solution is, as opposed to being a VMware provider yourself.